Hey, so here we'll be learning how to draw tears, obviously. So please read the description and let's get started into doing this. Yeah, read the description. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw tears, obviously. There's two main ways to do tears. The positions of them. They come out from the ends of the eyes, or they come from the middle of the eyes. Also, when drawing a tear, make sure to follow the form of the face. The face curves, so do not make your tears straight down. Alright? Keep in mind that things have form in things, even though things have form in things. I'm really good. I'm really good at speaking. Okay, so please keep in mind that you need to take it to be perspective. That things have a form, things have a shape. And that even though this is a flat cone, and that's a flat drawing, we're going to try to make it look as 3D as possible to give it dimension. So that's why it's important to use curved lines when drawing your teardrops. Also, if you can't really figure out the placement of your tears, it's completely fine. Just look at some references. There's nothing wrong with using a reference at all. Even some professionals actually use references. I use references too, but not very often. But when I do use a reference, my work is just so much better. So activate alpha lock, get white, and color your tears. Then with an airbrush, erase the inside of your ears. Tears, not ears. Tears. What's wrong with me? I'm forgetting how to speak. Okay, my brain, it's dissolving. So only erase the inside of the tears and make sure to leave the edges very visible. This process needs to be done very, very lightly, so use an airbrush. Just airbrush it on. Also, just letting you guys know that I do not have a stylus pen, and I do. Okay, anyway, lower the opacity down to 60 or to 40, whatever your desire is. Then get a skin shading color. You can usually do that by selecting your skin shading color and then making it more saturated and also going down towards the more cooler colors. I used my perfect soft brush, which you can follow the link in the description to find which brushes that I use. Anyway, so lightly, very, very lightly, draw the shadow of the tears. The tears are mostly transparent, but they do cast a shadow. So remember, the shadow, you gotta make it very light, okay? It helps bring out the tears a lot, and yeah, my throat hurts, which is why my voice might be cracking. It's cracking, yeah. Alright, so then make a new layer below the tears, but above the shadows. And select the darker environment color around. So since the tear doesn't land very far from the face, it's actually like touching right up against the face, we're not using a background color for this, we're using the color that's closest to the tear, which in this case will be, here it's the dark skin color, and over at the eye, it was the eyelashes. So also doing this, please look at a reference if you don't understand how to follow the form of the tear. So following the form of the tear, we're going to use curved lines and kind of trace the outside of the tear a little bit. It's reflecting its environment around it because it's water. Water is very reflective. So yeah. And you can see I'm going back and using the darker color around. I didn't use black and bottom one. Anyway, so using blur actually I used to blend things. I did have a blending brush, but it didn't really work out. So just lightly blur the reflecting shadow thingy. Make a new layer. And just, actually, you know what, just keep it to normal. Select white, and now we'll be drawing the highlights. You can look at a reference for this, of course, if you'd like. I'll keep repeating that because some people think it's not okay to look at references. It's completely fine to look at references. It's not cheating. It's fine, okay? Look at a reference if you don't understand how to do something. So going around the tear, since the tear, it's 3D. Or at least that's how we're going to think of it as. Think of it as. Yes. Alright. So there's usually one main highlight, but I like to do a few highlights because I usually do 2 highlights on each drop, or as many as I would want to. But be very careful not to over exaggerate this and not to do too many highlights, or your clear's gonna look a little wonky. So make a new layer above everything. I use red, but you can use any color that you'd like. Use the airbrush tool and make sure that your layer setting is to add. Then lightly, very, very lightly, brush on to tears. This is going to kind of give it a bit of a glow effect, like it's kind of reflecting light. This is, of course, like option, like you could do, this is optional, alright? You can also make little shiny reflection star things. You see what I'm doing, right? The shiny stuff. There's also a brush that you could use, but I was too lazy to watch an ad, so I just decided to draw them myself. Yeah. Okay, my throat hurts. But don't worry, I do not need a break. I just ate some peanut butter candies, so that must have been it. Anyway, so make a new layer below everything, below all the tears I mean. I usually select a cool color, still using my airbrush, and set the layer to multiply. Then I lightly brush over and around the tears. When I lightly brush over and around the tears, it will help bring out the tears a little more. I don't really know where I got this idea from, other than I thought that everything was a little too bright. And it didn't really look like the tears were exactly there. Making a new layer, setting it to screen, and getting a light beige color or whatever the color of the skin is. Then making a little shine just right around the tear. Because the tear is made of water. Water is reflective, so it's going to reflect some light back onto the skin. A little, I think. I mean, I don't really know where I got this from other than the fact that water is reflective, but I never really saw it in a tear thing, so this isn't exactly a rule. Keep in mind, there's many ways to draw tears. This is not the way, this is just a way. A way where there's many ways. So, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night, day, wherever you are. See ya!